Ever found yourself in a pinch, staring at an unexpected bill and wondering how to pay for it? Life, with all its twists and turns, has a way of throwing curveballs at us when we least expect. And often, these curveballs come with a price tag attached. Picture this. You're cruising down the highway, singing along to your favorite tune, when suddenly, your car sputters and dies. You're stranded, miles away from the nearest town, the tow truck, the mechanic, the parts. It all adds up to an expense you hadn't bargained for. Or perhaps, you're sitting at home when you get that dreaded phone call. A loved one has had a medical emergency. There are hospital bills to pay, medications to buy, perhaps even travel costs, if they're in another city. All of a sudden, you're faced with a financial burden that you hadn't planned for. Or let's take a more global perspective. We've all seen the economic upheaval caused by the pandemic. Businesses closing down, jobs lost, incomes cut. It's been a stark reminder of how quickly our financial stability can be shaken. These scenarios might sound daunting, and they are, but they're also a part of life. Unpredictability is the only predictable thing about life, and that's why it's so crucial to be financially prepared for these unexpected situations. Imagine having a safety net, a cushion, that softens the blow of these financial surprises. A fund that you can dip into when life throws you a curveball. It's not just about having money in the bank. It's about having peace of mind, knowing that you can handle whatever life throws at you without sinking into debt or financial stress. So, how does one go about creating this financial safety net? Well, that's what we're here to explore, because there's a term for this cushion, this safety net, this financial peace of mind. It's called an emergency fund. But what if there was a way to be prepared for these unforeseen expenses? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this topic and unlock the secrets of financial security and peace of mind. Enter the hero of our story, the emergency fund. This unassuming hero might not seem like much at first glance, but it's the quiet guardian that stands between you and financial uncertainty. It's the parachute that catches you when life decides to throw you off a cliff. So, what exactly is this superhero we call an emergency fund? Well, in its simplest form, an emergency fund is a stash of money set aside to cover the financial surprises life throws your way. These unexpected events can range from losing your job, a sudden health crisis, major car repairs, or even an unexpected hike in your rent. Now you might be thinking, isn't that what credit cards are for? While it's true that credit cards can be used in emergencies, they come with a hefty price tag in the form of high interest rates. An emergency fund, on the other hand, is like having your own personal safety net of cash that keeps you from falling into the trap of debt. An emergency fund isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Why? Because it gives you peace of mind. It's the financial buffer that allows you to sleep at night, knowing that if life throws you a curveball, you're ready to hit it right out of the park. But it's not just about peace of mind. An emergency fund is a vital tool for financial security. It's the foundation upon which you can build a strong financial future. Without it, you're building your financial house on sand, vulnerable to the tides of unexpected expenses. And here's the kicker. Building an emergency fund is not as daunting as it sounds. is not about stashing away huge sums of money all at once. It's about consistently setting aside a portion of your income, no matter how small, until you have enough to cover 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. Now that you understand what an emergency fund is and why you need one, you might be wondering, how do you go about building it? Building an emergency fund might seem like a daunting task, but it's simpler than you think. Indeed, it's all about breaking it down into manageable steps. First off, let's talk about determining how much you need in your fund. It's generally recommended to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved up. But this figure can vary depending on your personal circumstances. If you have a stable job and low expenses, 3 months worth might be enough. But if you're self-employed or have high costs, you might want to aim for a bigger cushion of 6 to 9 months. Take some time to assess your situation and decide what's right for you. Once you've figured out your target, it's time to get down to budgeting. This is where you look at your income and expenses and see where you can make adjustments. Maybe you can cut back on eating out or start bringing your own lunch to work. Or perhaps you can save on utility bills by being more energy efficient. Every little bit helps. So don't underestimate the power of small changes. Now, let's talk about saving strategies. One popular method is the pay yourself first approach. This means setting aside a portion of your income for your emergency fund as soon as you get paid, before you spend money on anything else. You can automate this process by setting up a direct deposit or automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account. Another strategy is to save windfalls, like tax refunds or bonuses. Instead of spending this extra money, you can put it straight into your emergency fund. As for where to keep your fund, you'll want it to be easily accessible, but not too accessible. A high-yield savings account is a good option. These accounts offer higher interest rates than regular savings accounts, and you can usually withdraw money without penalties. Just make sure to choose an account with no monthly fees or minimum balance requirements. You might be wondering, what if I have debt? Should I still build an emergency fund? The answer is yes. Having an emergency fund can prevent you from falling further into debt if an unexpected expense comes up. You can start by saving a small emergency fund, say £1,000, and then focus on paying off your high interest debt. Once that's done, you can continue building your emergency fund. Remember, building an emergency fund is not a race. It's perfectly okay to start small and build up gradually. The important thing is to make consistent progress. Even if you can only save a small amount each month, it will add up over time. By following these steps, you can build an emergency fund that suits your needs and lifestyle. You'll have peace of mind knowing you're prepared for whatever life throws your way. And that's a feeling that money can't buy. So you've built your emergency fund. What now? Well, my friends, now you get to experience the true power of an emergency fund. This isn't merely about having a safety net for unexpected expenses. It's about the freedom and peace of mind that comes with knowing you're prepared for whatever life may throw at you. One of the most significant advantages of an emergency fund is the financial security it provides. It's like having a protective shield against unexpected financial blows. Imagine the relief of knowing that if your car breaks down, you have the funds to repair it without disrupting your monthly budget. Or if a sudden illness means time off work, your bills won't pile up, causing additional stress. An emergency fund also reduces dependence on credit. When an unexpected expense arises, many fall into the trap of reaching for their credit cards or taking out loans. This can lead to a cycle of debt that is difficult to escape from. But with an emergency fund, you have the capacity to cover these costs up front, avoiding interests and fees that come with borrowing. Moreover, an emergency fund can help you weather financial storms without jeopardizing your long-term goals. Whether you're saving for a house, planning a dream vacation, or investing for retirement, an emergency fund ensures that you can continue to make progress towards these goals, even when faced with unexpected expenses. In addition, an emergency fund gives you the ability to make better financial decisions. When you're not living paycheck to paycheck or constantly worrying about the next financial emergency, you have the mental space to plan and strategize for your future. Finally, an emergency fund provides a sense of peace and calm. It's the reassurance that you can handle life's unexpected challenges without it causing a financial crisis. So the power of an emergency fund extends far beyond simply having money set aside for emergencies. It's about financial independence, resilience, and the ability to thrive even in the face of adversity. An emergency fund is your financial safety net, ready to catch you when life throws you a curveball. In conclusion, an emergency fund is more than just a buffer for unexpected expenses. It's your personal financial safety net, a lifeline when life throws a curveball. It's the difference between weathering a financial storm or being swept away by it. We've explored the basics. What is an emergency fund? Why you need one? And how to start building it. We've learned that the first step is to determine the amount you need to save based on your monthly expenses. Then, we've discovered how to gradually accumulate this fund by setting aside a small portion of your income regularly. This fund is the cornerstone of financial security. It gives you peace of mind knowing that you're prepared for unforeseen events. So, don't delay. Begin your journey towards financial resilience now. Take control of your financial future today by starting your emergency fund. Remember, it's not about the amount you save, but the habit of saving. Thank you for joining me on Kuya Invest. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I will see you on the next one.